Hello, Dave here with Best Local Results. My website is bestlocalresults.com. And on this YouTube channel, I teach business owners how to do their own local SEO, which basically means how to get their Google Business Profile listing to show up in the Google Maps 3-pack, or their website listing to show up, number on the first page of Google just below the Google Maps 3-pack. So today's topic that we're going to talk about is content optimization. This is a question that I get a lot. What is it? How do I do it? And when you're talking about content optimization, let me define that for you really quick. It basically has to do with targeting keywords using the pages and posts on your local business website. Sometimes you might have a single page all targeting one keyword. Other times you might target a group of keywords on a page. We're not going to get into why you would want to do that under what situation. It has to do with how competitive your market is and lots of stuff. I get into that in other videos and in articles on bestlocalresults.com. But for the purpose of this video, whatever your strategy is for a page, I just want to show you how to or page or a post, how to optimize that. Very important topic, super important in local SEO, and very interesting. Let's get into it. Okay, first I want to start here on bestlocalresults.com. I just want to show you, I have an article that goes over the exact same topic that we are talking about in this video. If you go to the main menu and hover over on page local SEO and then click on content optimization, you'll see here's the article, how to optimize content for local SEO. And I'm actually gonna, once this video's done and uploaded into YouTube, I'm gonna embed it in this article here so that you have that as a resource. If you like having things written out for you, like if you're trying to do this yourself, sometimes having it written is helpful. You can go to this article, and everything we talk about in this video, I have broken down exactly how to do everything. So I created a kind of an outline for this video. Again, the topic is how to optimize content for local SEO, meaning how to optimize your pages and posts for local SEO. When somebody types in a search, like you can see here in Google, I typed in plumbing Salt Lake City. What Google does is it has all of the, or most of the websites on the internet already indexed. It scans through the websites that it has indexed when it's doing a search for, when you typed in a search, it scans all of the websites. And by websites, I mean even individual pages and posts, because they're their own mini website. They have their own URL. But it scans all the pages and posts that it thinks might relate. It might be something that it would want to show for this, whatever search term you typed in. It wants to give you what you're looking for. And so the first three things that Google is going, or any search engine is going to look at to determine what each of those pages or posts are about is the URL of the page or post, the title tag, which we'll talk about what that is in a second, of the page or post, and then the H1 tag. All of those are titles for the page and tell Google what the page is about. And so they all need to say the same thing. You don't want your URL to have different words in it. They can be different words as long as they're saying the same thing. Matter of fact, I like to mix the words up slightly, as long as it doesn't change the meaning. But they all need to be telling Google the exact same thing that that the page is about. So like in this page here, we have our URL, and then we have our title tag. You can see the title tag, it's what the little drop down, it's in the drop down when you hover over a tab here. And then this is the H1. Those are the three areas on a page that Google looks at to see what the page is about. And I'll tell you So, well, let's look. So in the URL, once you get past the actual domain of the website, you have the specific words that relate to this page. It's plumbing repairs Utah. So this page, everything on this page should have to do with plumbing repairs in Utah. And then when you look at the title tag, plumbing repairs in Salt Lake City, Utah. So it's a little bit more specific, but it basically says the same thing. And then they just have their company name after. I should tell you really quick while we're talking about title tags here. You see the title tag here when you hover over the tab, but the other place that you can find the title tag is right here. This is a different page. This is the main page of the website. So I'll jump over to the main page here so you can see how they match up. So the title tag here says plumbing contractor, Salt Lake City, 24-hour emergency plumber. And if you go over here, you can see here's also the title tag, plumbing contractor, Salt Lake City, 24-hour emergency. So right here, this line in a Google search shows your title tag. And then also it shows some metadata which show up down here. Anyway, so let's go back to where we were, to plumbing repairs. So we've got our URL, we've got our title tag, and then the last thing that we have is the H1 tag, which basically says the same thing, plumbing repair in Salt Lake City. It doesn't have Utah in it. But anyway, you can see they basically say what the page is about. Between the URL and the H1 tag, you have Utah in there and Salt Lake City, so it matches the title tag. So then once Google knows what you're telling it the page is about, then it's going to go to the actual page to figure out if it's really about that. If it looks at all of the subheadings on the page and all of the paragraph text on the page, and it's really about what you told it's about, if it's the most well written and the most authoritative and the best content on that topic for what the search is, then you got a good chance of being the one that Google shows in the search. But if it's not, then Google will, if it gets to looking at your subtitles, if one of your subtitles doesn't fit within what you told Google the page would be about, or if your paragraph text doesn't, Google will say, it's not really about that, and they won't show your page. They'll find another one that's better. So the next thing that Google looks at to see what your page is about is the subtitles. So going back to this page, it looked at the URL and the title tag and the thing, and now knows what you're telling it the page is going to be about. Then it starts going through the different subtitles to see if the subtitles fit within what you told them the page is about. In this page, you can see they only have one H2, and H2 is a subheading that fits under your H1, but it has two H3s. And so it's not a very long page. If they started to write more, they'd probably put another H2, and then under that maybe a few H3s as well. You can have multiple H2s and then multiple H3s and multiple H4s or whatever, but you can only have one H1 for a page, and that's what this is up here. So we can see professional plumbing repair and solutions. Doesn't really say anything about the state there, but that's okay. But that fits within plumbing repair, professional plumbing repair and solutions. So that fits. Then it'll look at comprehensive range of services and emergency options. Now these are H3s. I'll show you how to check that really quick. If you want to know, you highlight a subtitle and then you just right click and hit inspect. This one is an H3 and it'll show you here. See, it's an H3 right there. And if we did that to this title up here, I'm not going to do it, but this one would be an H2. This one down here is also an H3. So anyway, so your H3s need to fit exactly within the H2 that's above it. And so what Google's going to look at is it's going to say, okay, we're talking about plumbing, professional plumbing repair and solutions. Do these two subtitles fit within plumbing repair and solutions? Comprehensive range of services and emergency options. I would like to have a little more keywords that actually ties it to that in there than that, but they're ranking number one, so Google must consider that okay. And then for affordable prices. So that's just, and you can see how prices is part of a plumbing repair solution. I probably would have put plumbing in one of these titles too. So you can see that affordable prices is something that fits in within professional plumbing repair and solutions. And you can see that comprehensive range of services and emergency options, you can see how that would fit under professional plumbing repair and solutions. So that's how you optimize your H3s to fit under your H2. If you had some H4s, some subheadings to divide up one of these sections, then those would need to fit perfectly under the H3 that's above it, if that makes sense. Okay, so now let's talk about paragraph text. Here we have some paragraph text right here that's under this H2. Your paragraph text needs to fit perfectly within the topic of the subheading, of the subheading that's above it. So if it's under an H2, it needs to fit within what that H2 says it's going to be about. All of this text here needs to fit within what this subheading, this H3, comprehensive range of services and emergency options. I've seen when I'm training new writers, a lot of times they'll do a title and then they'll write their text and they get off on a tangent, and their paragraph text isn't about what they say it's going to be about. So the better you can get at that, the better your pages will rank for the keywords that you're targeting. And then also in the paragraph text, I teach writers to write specifically. You don't want a keyword stuff. We know in SEO, we want all of the keywords that relate to the subheadings, above this paragraph text. You want natural keywords that relate to plumbing repair and services and emergency options. You want keywords that relate to that in that paragraph text. Like here they got emergency service, 24-hour emergency service. Anyway, you want keywords that relate to that, but you don't want it to be awkward when you're reading it. You want your English professor to be happy as well. It needs to your keywords need to fit in there naturally. And so what I teach people is, instead of writing in general terms, write specifically. If you write specifically, what you'll find is you'll naturally, to be specific, you'll put keywords in there, and it'll fit naturally because you're just being more specific. The other thing about paragraph text is, depending on what type of page you're writing, if it's a service page about your different services, you want the page, you want to teach the people something. In other words, if they read this page, it's not just a marketing page. If it's about plumbing repair and solutions, you want the text to be giving value, giving knowledge, benefiting the person, teaching them something, in other words. And one, that's good for the person that's reading. If they're looking at your page and they come across this page and they're trying to figure out if what they should do, and you teach them something, they'll think, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. They'll probably use you. But it's also, so that's one purpose of why you want to do that. But the main purpose why you want to do that is because if you're imparting your expertise, your knowledge, Google will consider you more authoritative than your competitors who are not doing that. And so you'll have an advantage in the search engines in that way. That's part of another lesson where we're talking about what's called EEAT, where which stands for expertise, experience, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. So if it's like a home page or a location page, a page that's more likely to show up in the searches, you want those pages also to be written so they convert. You could write any page so that it converts. But so anyway, those are the two things that you want. You want your content to convert them, to get them to call you on the phone or come down to your business. And I would argue possibly even more important than that, because it'll give you you'll show up higher in the rankings. You want it to impart knowledge and show your expertise. It has to be well written, and the people have to enjoy reading it. So you don't just want to use a bunch of big words. You need to write it so that people will actually be engaged and want to read it, but it needs to teach them something and show your expertise. Okay, well, I hope that was interesting. I appreciate you watching the video all the way to the end. I hope you benefited from it. I hope you learned something. If you did, please don't forget to like the video. Probably more than anything else, that helps us get the word out, helps us with the Google algorithm as well. Also, if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing, hit the little bells so you'll be notified when we do future videos. And another thing that really also helps a lot is if you know business owners that this might benefit, or anybody that would want to learn local SEO, send this to them in an email or share this on your social media. Well, thank you again so much, and we'll talk to you in the next video. Thanks so much.